Okay, welcome back, guys. It's all about the money today, hey? Section 12J, raising equity, speaking to people who raise money left, right, and center. I've got another money guy over here who opens doors and assists with raising equity. How are you doing?
I'm alright. How are you doing?
Perhaps introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and how it is that you get to work with Be More Institute and Muma Investments.
Okay. I think the starting point is with Muma Investment we share a common vision. Common vision in the sense,
If I may,
yes.
there could be some very nice looking people out there who don't even know your name yet. Hey?
I'm going there. I'm going there. Don't worry. So I think the starting point is we share a common vision.
Yeah.
I manage a company called Venetian Investment Group. Our strategic focus is mainly on transaction advisory, mainly in the property space, in student accommodation, as well as your social housing developments. We are not only focused in those two sectors, we also are into mining, we are into buildings of clinics and funding of that. We are also into the ICT space as well, outside of the business of why we've converged today. So, but
Yeah.
I'll just stick to the property finance side so that I don't.
If you owe too much,
Yes,
because
yeah,
you can tell us a whole lot of what else you do, right?
yes, of course, yeah.
Okay, perhaps we should then go into your presentation, which
Hmm.
then gives us an idea what venture capital does, and then we'll have a small Q&A afterwards.
Okay,
All right, cool. So we'll just load the presentation in the meantime, and then perhaps you can just go through the slides.
okay, all
Okay.
right, okay. Okay, the first slide is basically about us, who we are as a business. So, as I've alluded to previously, we're a transaction advisory firm. We also do deal origination, we do research, we do valuations, and we do corporate finance as well as project implementation. We've been doing this business for over 13 years now. We've raised funds in excess of over 3 billion rand. We've got strategic partners that we work with from the debt and equity side, because on the transaction advisory side, we basically raise both debt and equity. And that's where our strategic focus has been. We've worked with Muma Investment in line with our philosophy of trying to ensure that our funding models they converge with the client's needs. Uh, Basically, that entails us providing 10 key solutions to ensure. I'm sure the reason why we're sitting today is because of the issues around equity. But we are in engagement as well with Muma to try and find also solutions so that we also bridge the gap in terms of the equity side of the business. We've done deals with Muma Investments mainly on, we've raised debt for them. We also in engagement with them on other projects. Case in point being the Celestial, which is a 648 million rand project. We've closed one for the Elnita project for the phase one, and we're waiting for the phase two of that particular type of project. Who do we fund? We do gap funding for startups, companies that need expansion finance, outright purchases, management buy-ins, management buyouts. If you also need funding for your invoice discounting and your order financing, we also do that outside of that. So that's in terms of our philosophy in trying to provide a 10 key solution outside of the project management side of our business.
Okay. All right, cool. So I suppose a lot of your presentation actually speaks to those elements, and because
Yes.
you guys offer such an array of solutions, with particular interest to what we're doing today, you spoke about how it is that you're helping Muma, or working with Muma rather, to raise some of the equity and some of the debt financing. The Celestial, I couldn't help but wonder. You said that's a 600 and something million rand project.
648
648.
million. Yes.
And you guys have helped raise that.
Yeah, we're at an advanced stage of that process in terms of concluding the term sheets
The
for
term
that.
sheets, okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So for viewers out there who are interested, if you guys want to become investors, if you guys want to build student accommodation, or you're interested in property in general, What we've done is that there's a link that's been posted on the platforms that you guys are on. Use that link to register your interest, whether you want to invest via Section 12J, whether you're interested in going to work with the BMI institution. And with the BMI Institute, is there going to be the training element for venture creation, entrepreneurship, or even real estate? And on the third element, when you've got projects and you need funding, we've got a whole bunch of people who are in this team that can assist with that. So please use the link, register your details, and what we'll do is that we'll do follow-ups with you guys after that. So your engagement model.
Right. Our engagement model has always been one that is mainly driven by the concept of partnership. Yes, the commercial aspect to that process, we cannot run away from it because obviously we can't do it for free. But we want it to be a win-win situation for not only the project sponsor, ourselves, as well as where we raise the funds from. I think the selling proposition that Dandy, I think Muma Investments, I think it was one of the easiest transactions that we did because of the fact that most of the documentation that impedes on the due diligence, they already had them in place. So that's why it was quite easy for us to be able to do this, because not only does Dandy, as the CEO of the business, have a construction background, all of the due diligence documents that were required for us to do that were already in place. They had offtake agreements with TUT, financials were in place, the municipal approvals were in place, the plans were in place. So it was a done deal from that respect. I think if you were to see his workmanship, it will be testament to that.
Yeah, well, and I have he does
Yeah.
a good job.
Yeah.
So what you're saying in essence that you guys are willing to assist. You've actually come to the party,
Yes, yeah.
provided the packaging is done correctly.
Yes.
And we're talking about the feasibilities, all the applications that must be done, and you guys have been able to work with them on projects like that. So
Yes,
why I'm repeating this is that for the benefit of the viewers out there who might not know how it is that Muma has done this along with the BMI group, you guys are able to then do what you do, provided that everything prior to that, the preconditions have been met.
Yes, so obviously if the zoning and the bulk infrastructure is in place,
Yeah.
then it becomes much more easier, as opposed to I think the bulk of the projects that come through, most of the businesses, they don't do project preparation.
Yeah.
And that becomes a challenge as well in terms of closing the transactions. So outside of the equity issue that I'm sure you've alluded to previously, there is also the issues of the project preparation stages, where we have to ensure that those are in place such that we hit the ground running, and then we create value not only for ourselves but as well as our esteemed partners as well.
And you went a lot into what Veneshak does. People still don't know your name.
I'm Takunda Chabudapasi. My apologies for the oversight.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much for coming through.
Okay.
And just to segue nicely into the next element, and which is probably almost the conclusion of our event today, we're going to get a Muma video that now speaks to exactly how everything comes together. And then after that, I'm going to wrap up with Mr. Dandy Matamela himself. Hi guys, welcome back, and thank you very much for showing the interest. What we've been doing in the interim is we've been seeing all your questions come through. Section 12J related, which is a really big thing. That's like free money. If you don't use it, you lose it. So SARS is a good guy sometimes. I still have Chris around, so Chris is going to help us answer some of the Section 12J questions. So one of the questions that I've got here is from Katleho. And Katleho asked the question, you're still not certain about the dates. Does this mean that I need to pay 25,000 rands by Sunday? And then 25,000 rands again by June 2021. You don't have to pay the full 25,000 rands now, as long as you've got 10% of the 25,000 rands, meaning that register your interest, use the form on the link that we've sent on the group right now, pay 2,500 rands. That's the minimum that's required, because it says that this is somebody who is in the process of paying that amount, and then you can pay the balance later. What about the 28th of June? Do they pay this twice? So the short answer, you only need 2,500 before Sunday, so that your 25,000 rands is in before the end of February, and then you can pay the balance of it, after the deadline, so to speak. So we've got another question that's come through. Where's the tax incentive paid to? The Joseph company or the investor? SARS refunds the taxes back to the taxpayer. Then the taxpayer then pays it into the investment. Thank you very much for that one, Chris. So those are the two major questions that we've had. And to wrap up, guys, I still got Dandy Matamela here, who's the founder and CEO of Muma Group. Dandy, perhaps you can give us some parting words.
Yes, thank you once again, Mr. Mtapo, for handling this occasion very nice and beautifully. I would also appreciate all the people who joined. This, I believe, it's really starting a conversation more than anything. It's not an end all by itself. I'm hoping that someone is listening. I saw some of the few people that we've been knocking at their doors from your, without mentioning the institutions, lest it looks like I'm piggybacking on someone else. But really, it has been really great. I would also like to appreciate our partners, Chris, for your time and the energy and all the support that you've put into this from Impact Investment Africa. Venetia Capital, Takunda, thank you. I also would like to thank Ste from Furo Capital Investments. So really, more than anything, there's a poem that I would like to just recite very quickly, in that, have you realized that nothing in nature really ever lives for itself? Rivers don't drink their own water, trees don't eat their own fruits, the sun doesn't shine for itself, the flowers don't make fragrance for themselves. Every single thing in nature lives for one another. That's really the value proposition that we see here. We need all the equity partners that we have partnered with. You probably have sitting there, you want to start training, for instance, to become a developer or an estate agent or property practitioner, or you have money and you would like to invest, bring it, and there are lots of opportunities. As Moses had said, for instance, we have a pipeline of 1.1 billion of veritable projects that are ready to go as in yesterday. There is a survey that has been sent. If you are interested, whether it's training, whether it's investing in current opportunities that we have, whether it's a project that you have or you just want to start. There was one of the questions from one of the students or a graduate who said, how do I start as a graduate? It's a very interesting one, but you just need to start. Give us a call, shout out, complete that link. It's there on your screen. Just complete the link. If we have your contacts, we'll be able to send you. I believe as well our email address is there, and you can just write to us. Without wasting any more time than that, it has really been an honor, and thank you very much.